And here we go. We're on the internet, boys.
This is 560 KPQ, conservative talk radio from Central Washington.
I forgot the. I was like, that sounds familiar. I forgot that was their.
I think their actual slogan is, 560 KPQ, Central Washington's talk radio station.
Yeah, that's what it is. Central Washington's. So it's not Central for a while there.
North Central Washington. It was either Central Washington or North
Central Washington,
Central.
and it was Central Washington's only talk radio station.
Now I think they are Central Washington's favorite talk radio station.
Yeah, fine, sure, whatever you have to tell yourself, buddy.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
it's not a high bar, but they are.
You got it. I'm so proud of you. You hit it. Good job. Yeah. I just got my daily Amazon alert telling us everything that we should buy. Today it's a pressurized growler for freshly tapped beer.
Ooh,
only $99. Actually, I do know that Growler Works makes a really nice growler.
You guys told me I wasn't allowed to buy the robotic arm.
Yeah, you're not allowed to buy the robotic arm.
No.
You're not defusing a bomb anytime soon, are you?
I won't know until I get there.
So, no.
I mean, I could pull a full Mysterio here.
We saw the trailer again yesterday. That's the one that,
people forget the origin story?
Yeah, people forget the origin stories on Mysterio. I'm excited for the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited about it. But people forget the origin story that Mysterio's a bad guy.
He started out as, depending on your story, an illusionist or a special effects guy.
Yeah, illusionist or special effects wizard.
Who basically started making villains for him to defeat as Mysterio.
Yeah, it's Syndrome.
Yeah.
Syndrome from Syndrome's from the first Incredibles movie. This whole thing is based on a similar thing that Mysterio did, which is I'm going to create the illusion of a problem
so that I can fix it.
So that I can come in and fix the problem. And look at me, now I'm a hero.
The illusion of a hero.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what Mysterio is, or was. And that's why, you keep
wondering
on.
what the red herring is?
The red herring is, I think the red herring is the dual universes.
Yeah.
Not
necessarily. He could be from another Earth. It's not quite like ours.
Yeah.
And he's kind of pulling a Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Where he's got this technology that lets him do these things beyond what our capabilities are.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's...
I mean, it could be Spider-Man's going through defeating these things along with him. And when they get to the end, he realizes Mysterio's been the one responsible for all the villains.
Yeah. Strangely, Mysterio's the one who strikes the killing blow each time.
Or is the most publicly viewable one defeating it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's I do think that it's probably going to be
some sort
of red herring situation where they it's just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do think I honestly they could go with the dual universes, multiverse kind of thing, because the multiverse could open them up to doing things like Eternals easier and stuff like that. Gives a little bit more wiggle room for the MCU to grow post Cap and Iron Man.
Yeah. I mean, do you get into different spider people?
Yeah, I mean, are we going to bring the Sony picture, the Sony stuff into it? I don't think so.
What raises the question to me, would Tom Holland's Spider-Man be Peter Parker or Peter B. Parker?
Neither. He's another one.
Yeah. You feel like he'd grow up to be Peter B. Parker?
What's that?
Peter B. Parker's been for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He could be Peter B. Parker.
No. I don't think he's gonna. Considering that in this universe they set up that Mary Jane's not even really
True.
a person. It's MJ,
Yep.
but it's not Mary Jane.
Yep.
It's Michelle, I think is her name.
Yeah.
But everyone calls her MJ. And yeah, I don't think that's a. I don't.
And they haven't really
think
done like
that's gonna
killing
be a
Gwen
thing.
Stacy or.
No, they haven't killed Gwen Stacy. The Flash in this universe is, the smart, rich Indian kid, not Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
Which if you forget, that's who played Flash in the first Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
Was Joe Manganiello. Which he said that he had to.
Sorry, my brain went and mixed DC into this.
Oh,
Wait, when did Flash show up?
Flash?
Yeah, there was a momentary. No,
Oh, because Joe
my
Manganiello
brain was trying to find where the hell this DC superhero Flash showed up in the Marvel universe.
Flash Thompson.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, different Flash.
Yes.
Entirely. The Flash that is that becomes Agent Venom eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And actually in the comics is a really, really cool character.
Yeah.
But I do kind of like what they've done with him in the new Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
Of your typical bully isn't the jock anymore.
No.
Your typical bully is the
rich
privileged kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different type of privilege these days.
Yeah, but
They might still go together.
yeah, I do like in the trailer you see it's Flash, MJ, Ned, and I think it's Betsy Brandt or Betty Brandt.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Betty Brandt, who eventually ends up working at the Daily Planet and is Peter's friend there. She was played in the movies by Elizabeth Banks, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
She was Jonah's
Secretary.
secretary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But ends up being like she was a friend to Peter. There's a whole lot of convoluted things like those. Like none of the Spider-Man movies have directly like taken a character and plopped them exactly
In the same spot
the same spot they were, because like in those movies she is much older than Peter, and kind of takes pity on him.
Yep.
When she's supposed to be kind of like the same age,
Yeah.
depending on which story. It's like the comics. It's
Everything's a little fluid.
everything's a little bit fluid with
Web
it.
fluid.
Yeah, exactly. Sticky and it disappears in an hour.
Describes from the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. But yeah, I still couldn't believe that trailer came out and everyone's like, "What do you mean Mysterio's a good guy?" And it's like, guys,
Yeah.
this is 100% bullshit. Mysterio lies.
Or are they gonna really fuck with you
Yeah.
and make that Mysterio good guy?
Make that Mysterio a good guy.
Yep.
Like multiple Mysterios.
Well, my other theory is alt universe Mysterio is a good guy,
Yeah.
but somehow his suit ends up with
Our
main
Earth. Universe.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I think that's too much. I think it's going to be a global collapse danger.
Mm-hmm.
That Shield gets that Fury gets Spider-Man to help with.
Yeah.
That Mysterio is the one who's like spearheading the resistance against it, and it's all caused by him. That's my guess.
Possibly.
That would be the way that I would see it happening.
Yeah.
But I could be
You
wrong.
never know.
Could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Fury is really the villain.
Yes, Fury is really the villain. I've been wrong before about them, but about the movies. But I've also been right before about a lot of them. Like I don't know if we were talking about the Captain Marvel trailer last year when it came out, and remember me saying like she had some sort of like they wiped her mind. She doesn't remember who she is.
That was kind of hinted at in the trailer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of hinted at in the trailer, but I was like, there's some fuckery going on with her mind. There's some where my guess was that the Kree had messed with her memory and changed a few things, and that was the case.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like I've gotten to the point where I feel comfortable guessing, because I know the way that these stories tend to play out.
Tend to.
Yeah.
Still, sometimes they'll screw with you a little.
Yeah. I mean, was it directly after Infinity War? I was like, there's gonna be some time travel fuckery in Endgame.
Yeah.
In the next one, we didn't know it was called Endgame yet.
Yep.
It was just there's gonna be some time travel fuckery in the next one, and oh look, there was a lot.
I guarantee you did not guess Captain America's ending.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I absolutely did not. I thought he was gonna die.
Yep.
Yeah. I also, but I did guess Tony was gonna die too.
Yeah.
And I'd been saying that for years. I was guessing he was gonna die in Infinity War.
Yeah.
But you know, I've been wrong before.
You'll be wrong again.
Yeah, I'll be wrong again.
Probably before this podcast is over.
Probably. There's a distinct possibility. Man, so we went to a concert last night.
Yes, we did.
And we'd never been to that venue before.
We had not been.
It is really cool. If you're ever in Seattle and get a chance to go see a show it'll either go by the name Screwdriver Bar or the Belltown Yacht Club, which is the former location of the actual Belltown Yacht Club.
Which is not in the water, which is always a little weird to me.
Well, it's near the water.
Yeah.
Like, it's Belltown. It's on First Street in Belltown.
Well, and I guess over here the yacht clubs actually have yachts involved.
Yeah. And
I'm from Eastern Washington, where none of the yacht clubs have yachts involved.
yeah. Over here the yacht clubs have yachts. And they actually it's a two block walk away from what would have been the old pier area. But yeah, we saw a show at Screwdriver Bar, Belltown Yacht Club.
Yep.
With the headliner was Wild Powers, who are a local band. I highly recommend checking them out. This is probably the fourth or fifth time we've seen them.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
First time I think we saw them was that Upstream Festival a few years back.
Wait, Wild Powers?
Yeah.
No, my first one was...
That was my first time seeing
Yeah.
them.
I caught them at Big Building Bash Kickoff.
That's what it was. Yeah. And you mentioned them to me, and we went to them
When they're about Upstream.
at Upstream.
Yeah.
Which Upstream is no more as far as I know.
Yeah.
And they fucking great. Like,
yep.
I love that the drummer, she has like a fan underneath her.
Yeah.
At all times, and her hair is just blowing wildly.
I think it's...
I hit your camera.
Where'd I go?
No, you're still there.
The world has moved around me.
I promise. Sorry, that's my bad for having the camera right next to you, right next to me, and gesticulating wildly. But
it's not appropriate to do on camera.
Well, it's more appropriate than masticating.
Yeah.
But they're just always really fun to watch, and last night was no exception.
Last night was just kind of a fun show.
It was sick, but the opening band was
Fire Trash.
Trash Fire. Another great local band. They don't have like Wild Powers you can go find on like Spotify and stuff like that. Trash Fire you can't yet. They just recorded an album.
I just realized 2 of the 3 bands you can't find online currently.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of them, the second band, Powers, who opened for Wild Powers.
Who was opened for by Trash Powers.
Trash Fire. Yeah. At one point, Jonah was like, what did Jonah say? Was it We Are Trash Fire? Coming up next is Powers. After that is Wild Powers, and then Trash Powers, and then Wild Fire, and then Power Trash.
Yep. Power Trash.
But
Power Trash sounds like a Captain America villain.
Trash Fire does too, actually.
Yeah.
But no, they great. Like I've known Jonah for a long time now, close to 15 years.
Yep.
Shit, I'm 31, about 15 years.
Yep.
And
half your lifetime.
Yeah. And Jonah was in another local band for a long time called Schoolyard Heroes, which go check out their stuff. It's really great.
He's done a few different local-ish bands.
Yeah, but Schoolyard Heroes was the big one. He was also on. He also played with Vendetta Red for a little while.
Yeah.
yeah, Trash Fire is his latest project that seems to have stuck around for a while. He's had a couple that have gone in and out, and
Yep.
had some folks who had some personal issues, so they had to step
So
away
we've seen a
from
couple of shows where he was in a band and they did one show total.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They did one show total, and then one of the guys in the band had a severe drinking problem, just kind of disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Trash Fire has stuck around.
Yep.
And it's the one band that I've ever seen him in where Jonah's not playing an instrument; he's just taking the lead singer role.
Yeah.
Which is entertaining as fuck to watch.
Because he's out in the audience, he's laying on the floor, he's running back to the bar to order a shot.
Yeah, ran back to the bar, ordered a shot. I figured out that shot was Malort, by the way.
Of course. He's into that one currently.
Ugh. Yeah. That's what happens when you own your own bar.
You get the weird shit.
You get weird shit. No, he took somebody's beer and dumped it on his own head.
Yeah.
And then afterward he goes, oh, like on the mic you can hear him say, oh, that was an IPA, that's expensive. Put that on my tab.
That's the thing is also like I think most everyone there knows who the hell Trash Fire is and what they're expecting. And
For the most part. There were some folks who clearly didn't.
yeah.
But it's very Ramones punk.
Yeah.
And like we only have 14 minutes of music, so we're killing time. Because each song, like a long song for them, is 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Well, yeah, because one of the guitars died briefly.
Yeah. Well, and one of the songs is them repeating it 2 times. We will never die. We will never die. We will never die. But you will.
Yep.
And that's. I think it's a total. The song's
It's
a total
not quite a
like
minute.
20. No, it's like 20 seconds long.
Yeah.
The song's like 20 seconds long. Which, like, Schoolyard Heroes has one song that's 58 seconds long.
Yeah.
And that's the quickest one that they have. But it's a different band.
I mean, you could set a whole song for your ringtone.
You could. We will never die. That would be so fucking funny.
You just said for all the blocked numbers or private numbers.
Yeah. Set it to all the
Suspected
spam.
spam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Spam comes on your phone, just starts screaming, "We will never die!"
yeah. But I'm looking forward to hearing them. But at the same time, last night, Molly and Whitney from Thunder Pussy were there.
Yeah.
And I talked to them briefly, just to tell them, how much I enjoyed the album, and found out that, by the way, they're super nice, like super nice. A very, two very genuine people who were just like, they were so excited. Excuse me, I just want to tell you, I really like your album, and they were like, oh my God, really? Like, so excited. I was like, it's hilarious to me because it's like, you guys went on a European fucking tour with sold out shows.
If you look at the girls, they're on an unexpected journey.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, they're hyper popular.
Yeah.
And to me, being like, hey, I just wanted to tell you I really enjoy your album shouldn't. But I guess it's always good to hear that.
Yeah, especially when you're especially when you're attending a local show that you're not part of.
Yeah.
Because it's not someone like your album, but they're recognizing you. And
yeah, exactly.
It's in a venue you're not expecting.
Yeah.
You didn't just destroy the venue. I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and seeing them in their civvies.
Yeah.
Was different.
Yeah.
Because like we're used to seeing them in their stage gear, which is like, for Molly is usually like big flowy. Well, I guess she was wearing pretty flowy stuff last night, but it's usually like very ostentatious, like flowy, showy stuff.
Yeah.
And then Whitney is usually in like fucking leather and leather jackets and everything. And last night they were both just casual. And I was like, it took me a second to be like, is that them? Because I'm also used to seeing them on stage.
Yeah.
And not in person. And in person
they're up, not down.
Yeah. And in person they're way smaller than me. I was just like, oh and they're normal sized people. I forget that.
That's why you just go around and people go, hey, I really dug your album.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and to kind of offset things, you have Jonah, who I was used to seeing on stage for a number of years and looking up to him.
Yeah.
And now when I talk to him in real life, I look up to him because he's fucking 5 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
So
the man is massive.
He's a big dude. 5 inches might be hyperbole.
I think it is.
Like 3 or 4, 3 inches taller than me.
Smashing his head against that.
Yeah, I think he's 6'4", 6'5".
If he was that 5 inches taller, he would have walked into the mirror ball.
Yeah, he's still taller than me.
Yeah.
He's still much larger than me. And I always do the, oh, hi, Jonah. But yeah, it's, I'm looking forward to, they said they're releasing a new single next month. So I'm looking forward to that.
Wait, Wild Powers or Fire Trash?
Thunder Pussy.
Okay.
Trash Fire is also. Jonah's going to send me a few things. He's like, oh, I'll send you some tracks. I was like, sweet.
Ooh.
Yeah. He did have a great idea though. He wants to get to the point where in between song, like every single song they play a 30-second song, and then he just wants to buy a bunch of guitars
and just smash them.
Like a bunch of shitty guitars. Get a $75 Fender.
I actually realized something about that would actually really disappoint Jonah about that idea. Everyone else gets guitars, he doesn't.
He could still
he just grabs one out.
He can still grab one. It's the idea. It's not the action. It's the idea.
Yeah.
And the idea is great. It's just like a 30-second song, smash a guitar. Minute long song, smash a guitar. 30-second song, smash a guitar. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, you'd probably do that if you're headlining. He goes, no, I want to do that as an opener.
Some shitty
club with like 7 people there. I was like, oh my God, that's genius.
That makes it better.
That makes it so much better. And then there's just fucking smithereens of guitars just everywhere. Yeah. That would be actually be fantastic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it was a great show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I also saw Taco Cat last weekend and for their album release show, and that was also awesome. But I saw it after we recorded, so I didn't.
Hey.
Yeah.
We also saw a movie this week.
We also did see a movie this week. We went and saw Men in Black International. Mm-hmm. What did you think of Men in Black International?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I was entertained.
I was pretty entertained. Is it good?
All right, movie critic.
Is it good?
You know what? It's the best movie we've seen in a while.
It's the best movie we've seen in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
What's funny is it's currently rating lower than Dark Phoenix on Rotten Tomatoes.
Weird.
Yeah, no, it's not insultingly stupid like Dark Phoenix is. I almost feel
like that's some sort of like nostalgia backlash.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good movie. That's kind of the thing.
But it fits into that series.
Yeah, I guess. I felt like they tried to shove a lot into it and didn't. What was even the running time on it? I'm curious. I have to look. Because I wanna know. Sorry. Men in Black. Nope. That's not what I wanted.
It is an hour and 55 minutes.
Hour and 55 minutes. So it was 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And even at 2 hours long, feels like some of the stuff is rushed.
Yeah. I mean,
a bit of it's kind of ham-handed.
I also recognize we're getting to summer. This is the start of the popcorn season.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a good popcorn. I haven't said that one for a while, but this is a good popcorn movie.
But that being said, that's kind of the same excuse for me as it's good for a kid's movie.
When I say popcorn movie, I know what I'm going to. It's not a great movie, but it's fun.
Yeah. Well, people were also remembering Vincent D'Onofrio's performance in the first one recently.
Yeah.
And like that was fucking amazing.
Well, yeah, it's fucking Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. But this one kind of fell into a trap of previous Men in Blacks, which is your big bads that you think are the big bad are played by people who are they have like no lines almost.
Yeah.
They have I think they have 3 or 4 lines throughout the movie.
The big bad in this one?
The twins.
Yeah.
The twins have 3 or 4 lines.
I mean, they have a couple lines. That's the thing is part of their lines aren't even in a human speech.
Yeah. Yeah. And whereas with part of what made Edgar such an interesting character, is that he was more than just alien,
yeah.
Like these guys were special effects and dancing.
Yeah.
Like that was what they did. They're twin brothers who breakdance.
Yeah.
Or not just breakdance, they just dance. They're twin brothers who are dancers.
And their characters in this manipulate elements.
Yeah.
By dancing them. Kind
of, yeah, in a way.
The gesticulation of dancing works well with the manipulation of the element. Imagery in this.
Exactly. But they weren't characters.
No.
And that's kind of where the latter Men in Black movies fall apart.
Yeah.
Is in the villain writing.
Yeah.
Is you don't have a concept of what the villain wants.
Mm-hmm.
And why you should be afraid of them, why you should care.
Yeah.
But
they look cool.
Yeah, but they look cool. The character designs were cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like this one suffers a lot from that. This one also suffers a lot from being too jokey. That sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we had Will Smith being the straight man to Will Smith being the goof to Tommy Lee Jones' straight man.
Yes.
Which is what worked so well.
Yeah.
And those little moments where Tommy Lee Jones was silly were great. Like the never press the red when he presses the red button.
Because he still played this. I mean, in his joke lines, he was still playing the straight character.
Yeah, he was still playing the straight character. And this Tessa Thompson is supposed to be the straight man in this one. Mm-hmm. There's still too many jokes.
Yeah, I mean, Tessa Thompson's character in this is definitely different than Valkyrie, which is nice.
Than Valkyrie?
Yeah, Valkyrie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing is Chris Hemsworth's character is
a lot like Thor.
He's pretty much Thor, the Men in Black agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's kind of the which they still have great chemistry and they play off well together.
I mean, I was thinking back to Kevin from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Hemsworth does kind of a very similar character in a lot of stuff.
Yes and no, because I've seen him in a lot of things where he's been really, really good. It's just that this is what the script calls for.
Yeah.
He's absolutely like hilarious as Kevin. We know that. He's great as Thor, but we've seen him play the range of Thor from serious Thor to goofy Thor.
True.
And the parts in this that work really well are actually when his character H takes a step back from being
when this character has to think and look at themselves. And
those
become self-critical.
Yeah, those are the good moments.
Yeah,
I would have rather had him be like the whole concept behind his character is his character has gone through something that has kind of messed with who he is as a person.
Yes,
right.
Which is also very Thor reminiscent.
Yes, exactly. And because of that, he's kind of reckless and goofy and silly but the problem with that is they don't take it far enough.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, he's goofy and silly. He's not. His recklessness isn't there enough. Almost.
Yeah, he's not reckless enough.
Yeah.
He's not a.
We don't see a self-destructive side to the recklessness.
Correct. Yeah.
He's not taking he's not being reckless within the job, taking like unnecessary risks.
Yeah. Well, he is, but it's a very PG way of doing them.
A lot of his risks he takes are more avoidant than they are. His recklessness is not over engaging; it's avoiding.
Yes. Whereas if they would have taken it like a step further, like his recklessness is the cause of a number of things.
Yeah.
Then it would have been like he's supposed to be kind of like the guy who was the hero and is now a fuck up. Yeah. He's not enough of a fuck up.
Yeah.
Which is why like there's another agent, C, who is very like on him all the time. And at the beginning you're like, God, like this seems unnecessary. This really seems unnecessary. And that's because he's not enough of a fuck up to deserve that animosity.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not being taken far enough is he's not enough of a fuck up, or he's I would have rather had him be more of a straight man.
Yeah.
And had like that was part of what made Will Smith so great was Tommy Lee Jones was the veteran straight man. And Tommy Lee Jones is kind of, I mean, and Will Smith is kind of fish out of water type thing.
Yeah.
But Tessa Thompson being the rookie who's so eager to impress versus the veteran who's clearly got some sort of issue going on that's preventing him from doing his job correctly. And whether that's he's somber and sullen all the time, like,
and it's a different type of, because we've seen that type of character, that combo before, where you have the new kid who's straight by the book, straight up, and then you have paired with a veteran who's grizzled and jaded.
Well, that's Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock.
Yeah.
Like, I would have rather had him be Harvey Bullock.
Yeah.
Where he's, hard drinking, and like they're all of his like hard drinking and hard partying stuff in this is thrown away. It's not a oh look, this is actually a cry for help. It is the, oh my God, you're such a doofus.
Yeah. But even like you could have just done, he's doing this hard party thing and taking things too far, but justify it by getting, hey, I did what I was supposed to, and
yeah, which they try to do that.
Yeah,
but it's not far enough.
Yeah,
that's kind of where the problem lies, is that it's not far enough. And I felt like, honestly, Kumail didn't need to be in that movie.
As that character, or
just in general?
Yeah,
that character didn't need to be in the movie.
It was comedy relief for a comedy movie.
Yeah, it was comedy relief stacked on top of comedy.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I felt that it was too jokey.
Yeah.
Like, Men in Black has jokes. The first one, it got jokes.
Yeah.
It is a buddy action comedy.
That character you could have also played that character as a straight foil to Hemsworth's comedy character.
Yeah. That's kind of the problem, is nobody was the straight man.
Yeah. Because that character
nobody in this movie was the straight man.
Obliviously funny.
Yeah.
Because completely unaware of, human interactions, only has one expectation, and that could make for the comedy with it.
Yeah, instead everyone is just kind of snarky. And honestly, to me, that's not as fun to watch.
That's fair.
Like, everyone's got jokes.
Yep.
Everyone's not supposed to have jokes. One of the funniest jokes in the first Men in Black movie is when no one is paying attention to K was Will Smith's character, right?
No, J.
K was Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, because his original name was James.
Yes, that's right. And no one's paying attention to Jay, and he's trying to get Zed, and which took me fucking forever to figure out that Zed is what British people say for Z.
Yeah,
and that's why he's Zed. I was like, why does he get to keep his name? Oh, he doesn't. That's an actual Z.
Yeah. I mean, when it was my first one, they also just be that, because Zed's not really a normal name. It could be a moniker. You could assume it's a moniker.
Yeah. But no, it's for Z.
Yeah. Which raises the question, what is his real name?
Zeus.
Zachariah.
Yeah. Zachary.
Yeah.
But they're talking, they're trying to figure something out, and Will Smith sees like the World's Fair things and goes, and while they're being all serious, one of the best jokes is him just going, "Hey, old guys." And then everyone turns and pays attention. Like, it's a simple joke made by a dude, like a guy, the one character, the snarky character towards everyone else being super serious.
Yeah.
That's why it's a funny joke.
Yep.
In this movie, no one is ever, like, the super serious characters are still snarky.
I mean, Tommy Jones has some really good funny lines. Basically, start with a, "Hey kid,
Yeah. Yeah.
told you to put your seatbelt on."
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. But none of them are delivered as a joke.
no.
It's always, that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
In this, everyone's got jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, that is, I think, a writing problem.
That's
and
fair.
it is kind of, we've talked about this before. I think that's a side effect of modern day comedy writing, is just being like,
Everything's a comedy.
everything's a comedy, when let's just throw out jokes. Like, let's cram as many jokes in as we can. Whereas before, what made it funny was when jokes were jokes are supposed to punctuate. They're not supposed to, in comedy, unless you're making something ridiculously silly, like a not another teen movie or scary movie or whatever, or hot.
You have to have a contrast.
Not Hot Fuzz, hot shots, or The Naked Gun.
Hot Fuzz.
Well, Hot Fuzz. That's the thing, is Hot Fuzz.
Still had the straight guy.
It's the jokes are poignant.
Yeah.
They're not.
I'm still going to recommend this movie over Dark Phoenix.
Oh yeah, 1,000 times. It's way more fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the thing. Is it's fun.
Yeah.
It is fun.
It's a good matinee.
It is
a good matinee show.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Is it? But I don't think this is I think it's it having currently a lower rating than Dark Phoenix is wrong.
Oh yeah. I feel like there's a nostalgia backlash.
I feel like this should be somewhere in the 50% range on Rotten
I think
Tomatoes.
there are people who are downvoting it some because it doesn't have Will Smith.
No, this is critics.
Oh, the critics are?
Yeah, I don't pay attention to audience score.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a better movie than Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's critics out there who are shittier towards this than Dark Phoenix because it's not dark enough. It's not somber enough.
I don't know. But
movies are supposed to be emotional.
No. I'm willing to bet you that they are going to compare it to the originals.
Yeah.
Because you can't get away from that. It's a fucking franchise name.
Oh yeah.
But critics are actually, they don't do that anymore. I'm going to call bullshit on your thing, because that is the number one criticism of every DC movie, is like, really? Another fucking grim dark thing? Really?
Well, because we also had a lot of, when you had the really good movies, you always have those critics who have to be the negative voice in that.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
it's not.
I'm trying to think of logical reasons why this is scoring lower than Dark Phoenix.
You're not going to find one. The actual reason. You don't want to know the reason?
Huh?
Because the movie's not very good. That's it. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
you had fun watching it. It's not a good movie.
It's still better than Dark Phoenix.
It's still better than Dark Phoenix, but it's not a good movie. And they don't take that in. They're not taking that into account.
Mm-hmm.
What they're taking into account is it a good movie? They're not taking into account comparing it to Dark Phoenix. They're just reviewing a movie.
Yeah.
Much in the same way that we should not compare it to Dark Phoenix in terms of the way that it's told.
Well, I mean, the main reason I come back to current Dark Phoenix is part of our recommendation that also ends up, is this movie worth going to see? Or we know, what should you go see? And I would still rate to go see this over Dark Phoenix if you're going to go to a movie.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend going and seeing it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. What I recommend, if you asked me which I had to choose from,
Yeah.
I would say go to see Men in Black. If you asked me, would you recommend going to see this movie in theaters?
Mm-hmm.
Not either or.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you recommend going and seeing in theaters? You have to be being impartial about.
Yeah.
We saw a really shitty movie last week.
Yeah.
This one was
Less shitty?
less shitty. It's still not good.
Yeah.
Like, I understand it's fun.
Yeah.
But honestly, for me, it was about as good. It was about as much fun as watching Skyscraper,
Okay.
where you're like, "Oh, that was a fun action scene." The rest of it's
That's
not.
fair.
The rest of it's just not very good.
Yeah.
You legitimately could have cut Kumail Nanjiani completely from the movie
Yeah.
and rewritten like 2 scenes, and it wouldn't have made a fucking difference.
Yeah.
That's the truth. You could have written two
Oh, yeah.
scenes.
I can't disagree with that.
He was a pointless character. And I love Kumail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I love seeing him in things. I'm happy that he's doing well. I'm excited to see Stuber
Yeah.
with him and Batista. I think that's going to be funny.
Yeah.
That one will probably be funny because Batista is going to play the straight man type in it.
Mm-hmm.
But his character in this, the Pawnee, the little alien,
Yep.
is, and I had that feeling from the trailers too. I was watching it, I was like, this is pointless. Why is this character here? I get the feeling you know what that is? That's a fucking toy sale, is what that is.
I was thinking a replacement for Frank.
Kind of, but even in the first movie, Frank is in a scene.
Yeah.
And then they leave him alone. He became a bigger character because everyone responded to him in a scene. And I mean, I do appreciate that they kept Emma Thompson around because she took over for Zed at the end at Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not Mission Impossible, Men in Black. But
Mission Impossible Black.
yeah. But it kind of like, how they kept Judi Dench on to be similar.
Yeah.
But honestly, you could have cut that character. You could have cut. There are probably 2 or 3 scenes from the entire movie that I would just completely get them out.
Yeah.
And because it wouldn't have made a difference.
Okay.
To the entirety of the movie. And that would have left some breathing room in which they could have done a little bit more, like played and explored a little bit more with some of the other characters. I would have liked to see more of the twins doing stuff as opposed to here are these 2 badass looking dudes who are going to walk into this area.
Yep.
And then we're going to cut away. And we're going to come back later and find out that they did something.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know, I want to see what they did.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to see that's kind of the fun of these Men in Black movies is that when you create an alien character that's supposed to be an in-depth character, like they might be aliens, but they're still in-depth characters. You can go in and explore with them, and this one doesn't at all. Mm-hmm. And even like the main bad they say in the trailer is the Hive.
Yeah,
the Hive are for the entirety of the movie are this boogeyman construct off into the ether that for almost the entire movie.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of what made me cause my problems with it is I kept calling everything that was going to happen.
Okay.
Like if you remember, I said like 3 or 4 times, like this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Like minutes beforehand.
Okay.
I don't want to do that.
All right. Then don't.
Yeah.
Stop doing it. If you don't want to do it, why are you still doing it?
I can't, because it's shitty writing. That's why. It's shitty writing.
Yeah. Oh, well.
That's, no, not oh well.
No, I mean, I can't argue anything else with it.
Yeah. It
is what it is. You can't.
Yes.
You can demand better, but you can't change this.
Yes, I am. That's what I'm doing. Is I'm
Please don't start a
demanding
petition
better.
To make them rewrite the end of it.
Fuck no, I'm not a fucking dipshit like that.
Dork.
No, they're dipshits too. They are also dipshits. They're fucking dorks, and they are also dipshits.
Yeah.
But no, it's just that's kind of the problem. Is much like we can go to Dark Phoenix. Much like with Dark Phoenix, there's bones there. Like the idea is there. Mm-hmm. The bones are there for something really good and interesting and fun and cool. And then they fucking just, I don't know, stapled a couple pieces of meat and skin to it and called it a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I think, and I honestly, what annoys me most about it is that I was really, really hoping that they would be able to bring in some of the charm and wit and intelligence of what Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth brought to Thor. Turns out they can only do so much.
Yeah.
If you don't have the writing behind it.
Yeah.
You don't have Taika's writing behind it. They're still a good the good duo. They still play well off each other.
They do.
But they don't have Taika's writing on this one. And because of that, it lacks.
Fair.
Also, when the big bad shows up, I was like, oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Like, that was the fight? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
we've seen big bad fights where they're small fights, but you've led up to them with something bigger.
Yeah. And this didn't. It was just kind of like, oh, that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know. For the when I feel that way, when I feel like I can see it coming for 2 acts, that it's like, okay, like guys, something fell apart here.
Yeah.
Whether it's the directing or the writing or the editing, something fell apart here. Maybe a mix of all three. I mean, all of the actors in the movie act their asses off for what they're doing. Like Hemsworth and Tessa go for it. Liam Neeson's all over the place, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he does.
Yep.
The guy who plays C, I don't know his name, but he's properly an asshole for most of the movie.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the most well-rounded character that they wrote.
Quite possibly.
Like, thinking about it, his motivation as to why he hates Hemsworth's character so much in the beginning.
Makes sense.
Well, it makes sense based on what they were thinking they were portraying Hemsworth's character as versus what they actually portrayed him as.
Yeah.
But he acts as to that line of what they think they're portraying him as. And then as the movie continues, the things that he does are
accurate,
are things that they're not. You'll notice at one point you realize it's like, oh, this guy's not just being spiteful. He actually gives a shit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the character turns, is where you realize he's not just a spiteful character. But
and I mean, you could also, if you write it, like, he could appear spiteful for the first half, and then when you get the turn, you legit get a turn.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's kind of the way his character is written. When you get the turn, you get the turn.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. You're like, oh my God, this guy's not an asshole. He just cares a lot. I mean, he might care too much at some points.
Yeah.
But he was right the entire time.
Yep.
It's just that due to the extenuating circumstances, his ire was directed in the wrong direction, which if he'd written the villains well, which they're not, it would have, the direction of his ire towards Hemsworth's character would have been like a stroke of genius kind of thing. And it's it's a lot of those. I feel like they tried to juggle a lot with this, and a few things drop.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, I liked the fact that they took apart the car and turned them into guns.
That was a cool scene.
That
Which
was
is in the trailer too.
Yeah,
Part
it's
of
in
that's
the
in the
trailer,
trailer,
too.
but yeah.
It's a disappointing story perpetuated by cool moments.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, I'd argue disappointing writing to perpetuate by cool moments.
It's the same.
No, I get that. I mean, story to me encompasses plot too.
Yeah, that's true. And again, the plot is there.
Yeah.
It's just not well executed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, and when you, I guess it'd be super expensive, but I would cut Kumail's character not have to pay Kumail, not pay the CG for his character,
Mm-hmm.
and put more fucking Emma Thompson and Liam Neeson in.
There wasn't CG. It was all just makeup.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kumail is that big.
Yeah, have you seen him?
Yeah.
No, he just lost some weight for the role.
Yeah. Like, he grew a beard. No, it's that's kind of, again, that's for me where it falls apart, is that you could see where they spent money too.
Yep.
Where it's like I would have spent less money on CG if we would to have weird alien shit happen. If we would have got more character time.
Yeah.
I guess, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Which again, going back to the first Men in Black movie, which in addition to using a lot of practical effects and makeup, Edgar's makeup for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Admittedly, when the roach actually comes out,
that wasn't just a puppet.
No, like the CG there doesn't hold up so great.
Yeah, it's not as bad as some from that time period.
It's true. That's not as bad as some.
It wasn't a liquid and flame character. I think that helped.
That does help. And he was supposed to look shiny, so
yeah.
So doing having to like render things that like basically having to render, it's harder to render matte than it is shiny.
Mm-hmm.
So having to render matte was not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Or rendering shiny, you mean?
What's that?
Rendering shiny was not that big of a deal.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Rendering matte wasn't a big deal for them because they didn't have to.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it was.
And he didn't need to try to look closely human or anything.
No. But
him a million about it.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't have to like have that thing that a lot of CG humans have, where all of a sudden they're really thin.
Or strangely stretchy.
Yeah. That was the one I noticed in, was it Blade 2, when they're having the fight in front of the lights.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a bunch of flipping around and they're all CG, and it's like you can clearly tell they're CG because all of a sudden some of them are super stretchy and skinny.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, guys.
Which, I mean, think about the bug character, like our articulation points are not.
They're not.
They're
human.
pretty set.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're also, because everything else is rigid, so it defines where your bend points are. And,
yeah. It's got a hard exoskeleton.
Yeah. There's your secret to good CG. Exoskeleton.
Exoskeletons. At least in the 90s.
Yeah.
But again, part of what made that great is we spent half that movie with Edgar.
Yeah.
We spent the entire movie with
more sugar.
Mm-hmm. More sugar.
Yep.
Sugar. More.
We spent most of this movie with Pawnee.
Yeah, like Pawnee needs to go the way of fucking Poochie the dog. Like, and Poochie returned to his home planet, never to be seen again. He was a character that was created to sell toys. Honestly, It was just kind of like when they grabbed the new car, and you're like, oh, good. It's good to know Lexus is the official car brand of the Men in Black.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's subtle product placement. I can live with that.
Yeah, that one's okay.
Somehow selling a car is less offensive than selling a toy.
Yeah, actually, because everyone owns a car and somebody has to fucking make it for the movie. It's gonna have a brand on it.
A few points where it's gone a little over the top with the car promotion.
Yeah, there's been some where they're like using the whatever fucking computers inside of it. Did you know you could do this?
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
Yeah.
But no, Pawnee was the character that doesn't need to exist.
That's fair.
You could cut him, and that would probably cut a good. Or if you had him in the movie, he's in one scene, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's one moment near the end of the movie where before the moment at the end of the movie where he actually does something.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there going, when is this guy going to fucking do something? What is the point of this character? And he does one thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, not sure that was worth all the time we spent with him.
Yeah.
Could have found another way around that. It's lazy writing.
Yeah.
what it is. It's lazy writing to try and shove in another star who's on the rise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really hope Toy Story's good. Is that what's next week?
Yes.
Toy Story's next week? Yeah.
You're just going to get a whole lot of Sporky in that one.
You know what? It's Tony Hale, so that might... And that's kind of a movie that those movies have kind of prided themselves on having big stars play character voices.
Yeah. Well, and also if that movie adds another character to sell toys, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a fucking movie about toys.
I mean, Mr. Potato Head might exist in the form it does now today because of those movies.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I think that I remember hearing that Mr. Potato Head sales went back up after Toy Story. The only original cast member not returning, and wasn't in the last one either.
Yeah.
Can you name him?
Hammy?
No.
No.
Ham is played by George Wendt, if I remember correctly.
I thought there was one kid.
Is it George Wendt? No. The guy who played the guy who's in all the Pixar movies. But no, it's Slinky Dog.
Slinky's not?
Well, the character might still be there, but the original. Do you know the original voice actor for Slinky Dog?
Who?
Jim Varney.
Ah, that's right.
Jim Varney died after Toy Story 2.
I thought no, Ham was originally a big name actor.
No, it is. It's the dude from Cheers.
Yeah.
Who's in all of the fucking Toy Story movies. I'm not saying it's him. I wasn't saying it's him.
Yeah, or Ham.
Ham. He is played by
John Ratzenberger.
John Ratzenberger. Thank you. He's in every Pixar movie.
Yep.
He's a voice in every Pixar movie. But I think he was the School of Fish in Finding Nemo. Like, he's in every Pixar movie as a character.
I had a buddy cop movie I thought of this week I'd love to see. Thinking of Toy Story 4. Tom Hanks and Keanu Reeves.
I mean, Turner and Neo. No, was it Turner and what was his character's name in fucking Point Break?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Just the two most liked guys in Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, and they're both in the movie we're seeing next week.
Oh, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves plays a stuntman toy.
That's right. Did you see? Apparently, Keanu has the second most lines in. Damn it, the game. The game he's in.
Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
He has the second most for the game?
Yes.
Holy shit, he's a big character then.
4 lines. No, he's a big character.
Wow. Yeah, God, I wasn't going to pre-order it, but fuck.
You're really tempted.
I am. But yeah, I hope Toy Story 4 is good. I hope. Fingers crossed. Yeah. That being said, we gotta finish up because I have to go install a PlayStation at my parents' house because my dad is retired and
gonna drive your mother fucking insane.
He's been retired for 2 weeks and my mom is already getting irritated with him.
So your dad's been retired 2 weeks and almost done with his project list.
Yeah.
My dad's been retired almost 5 years and still working on his.
Yeah, you underestimate my father.
Oh no, my father just has an amazing ability to find projects.
Oh yeah, well, my dad does too, but he's not allowed to do a lot of them on his own.
Yeah, I mean, my dad spent a winter making birdhouses, so.
Oh no, my dad's stuff is like wanting to completely redo part of the house. Yeah. And my mom's like, you're not allowed to do that on your own because then you'll be on the roof alone during the day. And last year, he fucking slipped on the roof and hurt his back.
Yeah.
And thank God my mom was actually there. Mm-hmm. My dad has also accidentally knocked down the ladder and got himself stuck on the roof before.
So I'm just picturing like your mother just sitting on the couch playing on her phone as you see your dad by the windows.
I wouldn't rule it out. The dude cut open an artery when he was he was cutting off a zip tie from a new hose. I had to drive him to the emergency room on the day that my movie was premiering. My documentary was premiering.
So he's allowed to do projects, just no heights or sharp objects or high voltage or toxic.
He's allowed to do projects when there's supervision.
He's gonna get a watercolor set and a little
Yeah. So we're giving him a PlayStation. He's getting a PlayStation today.
which he probably won't injure himself with.
Probably not. And he's
You know, never in your father, he'd find a way to fall off the couch or something.
yeah. And we got him Red Dead Redemption, so he can play fucking rootin' tootin' cowboy and rootin' tootin' himself around all day, and instead of injuring himself.
Or he's gonna go out and buy himself the VR system for it and
Sure, they have the room for it.
trip over the table playing the rhythm sword thing.
Beat Saber.
Beat Saber.
Yeah. But gonna do that.
Trip over a dog playing it.
Yeah, that's more likely. The dogs would think he wants to play, and then all of a sudden he gets a Great Dane paw in the face. But yeah, so I have to go do that
All right.
now and get my dad. I'm also gonna install Overwatch so he can play as McCree, and hear Matthew Mercer tell him it's high noon.
And then take all the ladders away.
Yeah, and then I'm taking all the ladders away from the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it for today.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Bye, kids.
Bye, kids.